The marinade for the chicken is a harissa, which is from North Africa. It's normally very spicy, probably too spicy for what we're looking for. So we're going to mellow it down with some red pepper. You can put tomatoes in, but we've tried a few different recipes and this is the best. All that's been done is this has been char grilled straight over a burning flame, a gas ring, until it's really blackened, into a bowl and cover it with cling film, and basically you leave it to cool, and that's what we're left up with. And what happens is the skin will just blister off easily. For this recipe we only actually need about a quarter of a red pepper, so I'm just going to take what I need and we can save the rest for later. Literally the skin comes straight off. There will be some bits that you won't be able to get all the black bits off. Not too bothered about that. As long as there's not too much, it will give a nice charred flavour to the actual dish. With the pepper, obviously the green piece taken out. Any of this, it really lacks flavour. Is also no good for us. And any seeds in the pepper can come out as well. Right. A lot of people have these nowadays. You can do it in a food processor, a larger one. Doesn't matter too much. All you need is something that's sharp and quick that can blitz it nice and fine into a puree. I've done exactly the same things with these red chilies. They're also not too spicy, so you can use smaller red chilies, Scotch bonnet, depending on how daring you want to go and how much you like spice. Exactly the same method with these is peel them round, take off all this skin. As also, when you char grill the chilies, they will lose quite a lot of their heat. So although we obviously took the seeds out on the pepper, with the chili you can just sort of pull the top bit off and blitz the whole thing. So for your quarter pepper you will need 2 chilies because they're not overly hot. Okay, it's literally as quick as that with the chilies. 1 clove of garlic's plenty. Veg oil, just enough to bind it. Nice pinch of sea salt. This is the only seasoning on the chicken as well, so don't be too shy with the salt. Nice twist of pepper. It's going to be a bit noisy, so stay with me. Lovely. Right, so that's our harissa paste. You can try it, just to make sure it's not too spicy. It's got a nice kick to it, nicely seasoned. It's quite heavily seasoned, but as I say, there's no more seasoning on the chicken. Gets poured into, put it in a bowl or a dish, it doesn't matter. I'm going to prep the chicken next. What's important is the marinating of the chicken. It will help to break down the texture. I'm also serving the chicken cold, so the texture becomes really important in this dish for that reason. And also you're going to marinate it because it needs to take on flavour. So get the chicken marinating as well. I've got corn-fed chicken thighs. For me personally, it's very important to make sure that they've had a good life, and I think it shows in the flavour of the meat. They're not pumped full of water. So you can use cheap chicken from the supermarket, no problems with that at all. For me, these are corn-fed. I either use corn-fed, free range or organic at the restaurant. That's what we prefer to use. Take the skin off. Because they are corn-fed, they will be slightly more fattier than your sort of bird that you will pick up in your supermarket. And because it's being served cold, as I've mentioned, it's not nice to eat cold chicken fat. So really make sure you pay attention to taking that fat off. Right, so you can get these already boned if you'd like as well. It helps make it a bit quicker. Just take that bit of fat off there. Right, to bone the chicken, if you do buy them with the skin bone in, all you have to do is cut down one side of the bone, cut down the other, stick the knife underneath, just come round that bone. Scrape the meat down the bone so you don't lose any flesh. There's not a massive amount of flesh on these anyway. And then all we're going to do is cut round that other knuckle. And there you go, you're left with a nice boned out chicken thigh. Trim up the edges, any meat hanging off, take them off. There you get one slightly thicker part of the chicken thigh, you need it to cook evenly. So we just open that out slightly into the marinade, both sides. And all we're going to do, we're going to wrap that up, do the same with this thigh, wrap it up and leave that in the fridge to marinate for 24 hours. So let me just rinse my hands off again and I'll get rid of this board. I love filming when you're washing my hands. But you soap this time. Right. So back to the rest of the dish and how we're going to turn this chicken into a kebab. Chicken comes out the fridge. I've already done one process ahead. Chicken out the fridge. Char grills are quite accessible these days, like a griddle pan. Get it very hot, smoking, no oil, no nothing. Chicken, thigh onto it, crisscross it. So you go cook it on one side, turn it around, cook it on the other. Finish through the oven, and you can just make a slit underneath if you're not sure whether it's cooked or not by the touch. Just make a slit, have a look, make sure it's not pink and not raw. And we're going to press that in between two trays with something heavy on top, and then cut it into our nice canapé sized pieces. So that's all I've done here. You can see the chicken's cooked through. It's nice and moist, you can still see some moisture in there. And the char grill flavour is really going to add to the taste of this when we plate it. We've obviously got some other garnishes to go with this dish, it's not just chicken. First one I'll talk you through is cucumber. This is just normal cucumber, nothing done to it at all apart from we vat packed it, which basically is a machine just over here if you want to have a look. That's our vat pack machine. The only advantage of this, tastes exactly the same as cucumber, it doesn't taste any different. If you put it to a light you can see it's completely transparent. If you want I can wave my hand behind so I'm not lying. And it's nice, you can pick up all the different veins in the cucumber and it's just for effect. So as I say, at home you won't have a vat pack machine, the majority of you, but you can just use plain cucumber as perfect. Pickled red cabbage. It's not a kebab unless you've got red cabbage. This I made about a week ago now. All it is red cabbage finely diced. The pickling liquor is 50% water to white wine vinegar and enough sugar just for your own taste. Some people like it sharper, some people like it sweeter. So I would say for this amount there's a good tablespoon of caster sugar in there. That will keep for a couple of weeks. It's the same as sauerkraut. So once you leave it in the pickling liquor until you need it, you don't need to make it every time you want it, and it's there. So that one we did make earlier. What else have we got going on? Kebab needs garlic sauce. We use roast garlic mayonnaise, a slightly posher version. It's just our normal mayonnaise that I've made on our crudité recipe that's also on this channel. With roasted garlic, which is garlic roasted in the skin in the oven with a little bit of oil. Wrap it in tin foil. You're probably looking at between 8 and 12 minutes till it's soft. Let it cool down, skin off, and just crush it with a back of a knife and run that through your mayonnaise. So that's what you'll get left with. Right, really we're at a point of assembly. We do use edible breadstick skewers for this dish. So we always look at trying to be creative with the dishes and how the actual guests are going to eat this. So rather than using a skewer, we're actually going to use a pita breadstick. So that's our pita part of the kebab. They've got our nice little logos on, so they're sort of like flags. They're not edible, I'm afraid. So the whole point is that you haven't got a stick that you've got to pull the meat off or anything. You can just bite down and it's nice and easy to eat. So we're now at a point of assembly. Open the cucumber up and right, we'll choose the nicest, meatiest piece of chicken we've got. We're going to put the stick straight on to start with. A way to ensure that the stick doesn't snap, although it probably will now I've said that, is just to use a skewer first, or a toothpick in this case. Okay, so you're just creating a cavity in the middle of the chicken that the stick, if it stays together, can go straight into. So that's the most delicate part of it. Now all we're doing is we're building on top of the chicken, so it becomes a little bit easier. Right, I'm going to start with a little bit of garlic sauce, or roast garlic mayo. whatever you would like to call it. I want my spoon, let me just get my spoon, sorry. It's quite powerful stuff, this. I don't really want to serve it with a piece of chewing gum. Just go fairly easy on it. It's all fairly delicate stuff, but once you've made them you can put them in the fridge and enjoy the rest of your evening with your guests and just pull them out for service. Right, we roughly want the cucumber the same size. It can be slightly bigger. I think this is where it looks nice that it's been vat packed. It's sort of like a piece of glass or a jelly. That's the effect that it gives. Right, I suppose now actually is a good point to good time to do my shallot rings. Rather than the whole point with this is, yes, I do want harsh flavours with the dish because otherwise I'll lose the concept of a kebab, but some flavours need to be mellowed down for the occasion. So rather than putting sort of harsh onion, red onion, whatever you get on a kebab, I've decided to do some shallot rings. So if you can just have a look over here. All I've got here, shallots that I've obviously ringed, nice small thin pieces. I soak them in milk because it would take some of the harsh strength and flavour off the shallot. What I really needed from these are the texture, so I need a really nice crispy texture. Straight into some plain flour. Try and get some of that flour off, otherwise they become quite soggy and large as well. Into the fire. We need these to be crisp but not burnt, but if you take them out of the fryer too early they will be soggy. The good thing with this dish for home cooking, you could use the chicken separately for a really nice starter, maybe with some minted yogurt or just with some really nice leaves, maybe some orange in there, citrusy salad. If you want to go the whole hog and do the canapé, that would be lovely as well, but there are different elements of these dishes, of this dish in particular, that are good for all different events. The breadsticks are lovely on their own with some hummus or some dip, so you can sort of take what you want and leave what you want from this dish. Right, so the oil's nearly stopped bubbling, which basically means they're dried enough. Just onto some paper. It's important to season them whilst they're warm because the salt will stick to them, whereas if they're cold it won't do. Canapé, you need big flavours from the canapé, so don't be shy with the seasoning, don't be shy with the garlic mayo. It's all about balance, but it's a one mouthful that you need to wow, so everything's quite intensely flavoured. Right, out with some red cabbage, almost sort of spaghetti-like, but no kebab is a kebab without it. A couple of pieces on top. Nice little touch of garlic mayo like so, and that will help hold these bad boys. And obviously you need a salad element to a kebab. It's not the big salad that you're expecting, but it's a beautiful coriander cress. It goes with the whole theme of the kebab and everything else, and it's really intensely flavoured. So all we're looking at is one nice piece on top. And I mean, you can serve these how you want. You can stack them all up on a plate, however you like. If you're doing it for one person, if we were doing it in the restaurant, it's quite a nice way to serve it. And that's our kebab that we'll be serving to the Army and Navy Club on May the 31st. Hope you enjoy making it. Thanks a lot.